So I will tell you the same thing I told him. I will ask you these questions. If you feel like just talking about an experience with games or something you like about games, feel free. Just go for it. Can you knock that corn popcorn over? Thank you, love. Could you give me a mic check?
Mic check.
Keep going. Just think. Count down from 10.
10, 9,
A little faster.
8, 7, 6, 5.
That's good.
Commencing countdown. Engines on. Alright.
Alright, so we'll start by introducing yourself.
Do you just want my name?
So you can just be like, hi, I'm Nicole Neal, casual gamer.
Hi, I'm Nicole Neal, casual gamer. I'm gonna do it over again because I looked at the camera. Hi, I'm Nicole Neal, casual gamer.
Why do you think it's important to the community for there to be like lower priced video game stores? Or let me rephrase it.
Yeah.
Why do you think it's important to a community of younger people, like newer generations, for there to be a retro gaming store, especially one with such low prices?
I think that's important because, a lot of families may not have the money to keep up with the gamings or the gaming community and how much a new game is. I mean, new games are like $60 and older games are even more than that. So, it just gives kids an opportunity to play the classics and learn about those.
Do you have a favorite game?
I do have a favorite game. My favorite game of all time would be Ages of Empires, which is a PC game. Is that okay?
Yeah.
But for like a handheld console, I don't know, is that what they're called?
Maybe like a Game Boy.
Like for a regular console, I really like War in the North.
Well, could you tell me what your first console was or the first game that you ever played was? Or you can do in order.
My first console was a PlayStation, and it was really awesome because it was the first big thing that my family got, and we all played it together. And the first game that we got on there was Frogger and Gran Turismo, and that was really fun because the whole family got to play together. My first game personally that I ever played would be Lemmings or Ages of Empires.
Do you think that new games are better, like the way that they've sort of changed gaming, or do you prefer older games?
I prefer older games because I don't like to play first-person games, and a lot of the newer games are first-person, whereas in the older ones, you get to see your character, you get to see what they're doing, and it's kind of more fun that way.
Why do you think it's important for the new generation of gamers to play old games?
I think it's important because the newer games tend to be a lot more realistic, and I think that there are some issues with certain types of games that cause the younger generation to not be able to differentiate between real life and the newer games. Whereas in the older games, like Super Mario or Frogger, they're more cartoonish and they're just fun, and it's really easy to know that they're a game versus real things happening.
Do you think that games are a good way to bring people together?
I do. I do think that games are a good way to bring people together. You can ask a yes or no in an interview.
Elaborate.
I do think that games are a good way to bring people together because it brings a lot of different types of people together, and it can bring a lot of different ages together. I know that, my parents like games like Frogger, and my dad likes games like Gran Turismo, so it brings like a wide range of people and types of people into or together. We just cut that, right? Yeah.
I'll leave it in there. What do you think about new controllers? Do you like the new, bigger controllers, or do you like the older controllers that might have had stranger shapes?
I kind of think it depends on the game. For me personally, I think that, like the Xbox controller is really chubby, and so it's hard for me, like with my littler hands, to do like fast movements. Whereas if it's just a game that's kind of like, mash 'em or something, then that's fine. But in the older games, I like playing with like the Nintendo 64 controllers and things like that, because I feel like you have more control over where your hands are.
What do you think about music-based games like Guitar Hero or Rock Band?
I really like those games. I think that they're fun, and although I don't think that it teaches you anything, I think that it's just a good time to play them, and it can be really fun. And again, it's something that a lot of different ages can do.
All right, and for your last question, if you could have dinner with one video game character from any game, any console, who would it be?
Miss Pac-Man, because she eats a lot of fruits. Okay, no. Let me think about that for a second. Video game character. I don't know which one. Little Mermaid. And the Little Mermaid game. Ask her why her game is so hard.
That's it.
Did you like it?
Yeah.
Do you want me to do anything else? I don't know. You can ask me more questions if you need more material.
I mean, those are the only questions that I have written down that you could ask. Thanks.
Did you go?
Yeah, you did awesome. Thanks. Would you ask me a few? Might as well. Throw it in there. So, you want this part, the tip of it, pointed at my diaphragm.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can go sit down.
Yeah. Do you want these or?
Yeah.
And you can frame me up. So there's a rule of, I'm supposed to do that.
Like more that way though, but still looking at me. Turn back a little bit. Okay. Like your body. Okay, that's fine.
Is there space above my head?
Like how much?
So
The same as normal?
yeah, it's a rule of fifths.
The rule. Yeah, I know. You already told me the rule. No. There's not.
There's no room above my head.
Not a fifth.
Well, it doesn't have to be a whole fifth. Don't tilt with that.
What is it? That's right. Just put the pot together.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay. You can take that if you grab the end part of it,
Mm.
and you can tilt it down a little much,
Does it
a little
need-
more.
Doesn't need to be tilted.
The center part has to be pointed at my here, but you don't want to tilt it down too far, so if it gets too close to me, then I'll be like super loud and grainy.
So is this fine?
Yeah, that's me fine.
Or do you want it up here?
No, I mean that's fine, but it's I want you to be comfortable too.
Are we good? Like it at his head. I don't like the camera shot because the couch looks crooked, so it's making the whole picture look crooked. I don't know how to fix that. Did it look like that for mine?
It doesn't look crooked to me.
crooked when you're not sitting it. Well, yeah, it does. See what I mean? Well, I mean, if you film me like that, then it's gonna be the same. So I'm just being picky because I have OCD.
It'll be fine.
All right.
You're also looking at the camera that's pointed downwards a little bit, so it might be how you're looking at it. It's like, yeah. It's still rolling, yeah.
So why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi, it's hard not to do.
Yeah, it's a lot harder to do. So why don't you introduce yourself?
I'm Andrew Mancuso, casual gamer.
Why do you think it is important for the community to have a retro video game store that has cheap prices?
Well, I'll tell you really quick. I'm not gonna put in the asking questions, just the answers. So if you can, you don't have to try and read my chicken scratch. You can.
Go ahead and answer.
I think it's really important for there to be retro gaming stores because it's like a big part of my generation's like childhood is video games. I feel like they sort of like really bloomed and exploded when we were younger, and it's really hard to find old games, especially ones like when you were a kid your parents wouldn't buy you, or you know your parents were like, oh no, that's too expensive, and now you can go out and find them, and you know it's like $5 for a game, and you get just as much fun playing it now as you did when you were a kid.
What is your favorite game?
My favorite game? That's really hard. I don't know. It's what? Don't breathe so much. Sorry. I'm not really sure what my favorite game is. I feel like I play video games so often. I'm always finding new ones. But I will say I really like most superhero games. They're a lot of fun, especially because you're a superhero.
How do you think that games have changed?
I think that games have changed more into like violence. There's a lot more shooting games. Those are really big, like first-person shooters. Even third-person shooters are really big. I feel like we've kind of lost the platforming game era. Nintendo tries to keep it alive. They do a lot with, like, they still do Mario games and stuff, and while that's great, I appreciate keeping that genre alive. I do wish that we would see some more new characters for platforming games. I don't have anything against Mario. He's just kind of done it all.
If you could have dinner with one video game character, who would it be and why?
Dinner with a video game character. I think I would want to have dinner with Kirby, just because I've always wondered if he, you know, whenever he like sucks people up, he turns into them or takes one of their powers. I always wanted to know if he, you know, sucked up like a Thanksgiving turkey, would he turn into a turkey?
If you were to open your own gaming store, what do you think that your focus would be?
If I opened my own gaming store, I think my focus would be more towards... I would try and aim more towards like the newer generations of gamers. Like if I had an Xbox One and a PS4 section and I saw younger kids coming in and only looking over there, I would be like, oh, have you guys ever heard of a Super Nintendo or a Nintendo Entertainment System? This is where it all started, and I want to try and get kids back into playing retro games. They're kind of already coming back a little bit, but really it's more like my generation and even the generation before mine, going back and buying games from their childhood. But I really want kids now to have a chance to have the same games that I had when I was a kid and have those same experiences, like beating The Legend of Zelda for the first time, or facing off against Bowser in Super Mario. Stuff like that doesn't happen anymore.
What would be like what is like your dream game to own that you never had a chance to own, but it's too expensive now?
My dream game to own.
That you don't already own.
I am not sure. Not that I already own my dream game, but I feel like now it's not so much dream game, just the game. It's I want to have like the Goonies 2. Like I always wanted that game when I was a kid, and I finally got the Goonies 2 cartridge. But I feel like if I had a dream game, it would be the Goonies 2 cartridge with the box and the little insert that goes with it, and have the complete package, not so much a game that I really want to have to play, but a game that I've wanted my whole life. I want it all. I want it all to be together and nice and new.
When you have kids, do you think that you will encourage them to play the new games and buy the new games, or do you think that you will try to keep them from that and focus on the more retro games that you played?
I definitely want to support just the video game industry as a whole, because I would hate to see it ever wane and disappear. Not that I think that would ever happen, but so I feel like I would buy my kids new systems and new games, to keep up with the times. That was something I used to want to do too when I was a kid. I always wanted, the next system, the next best thing, so that I could have all my friends over and play video games. Because I guess when you're a kid, that's kind of what it's really all about, is having fun with your friends. But I definitely want my kids to play older games and appreciate where video games are now, and know where they came from. And I feel like if they do have their friends over to play games, they'll have a lot more fun playing, Mario Party on the or N64, or Mario Kart. That's always a fun party game. And I feel like now we don't really have those party games. Like I said, Nintendo still, when we're on Mario Party 17 or something. But it's always good to get back to basics and play the original games. I feel like a lot of my skills, if you will, playing video games now came from having to play almost impossible video games when I was a little kid. Now games are really easy, so I definitely want them to be able to have that. Thanks, babe.
You should call it Back to BA Sticks, or BA6. But capitalize the B and the A.